Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I came across an article today titled Bitcoin is this decade's best investable asset. And it got me thinking, well, we're almost in 2020 where, a new decade is almost upon us. What will be the best investable asset in the coming decade? And I think you know what the answer is going to be for Moon Lambo. Oh, yes. XRP. Now, of course, I want to be clear at the outset since I don't, I don't offer price predictions. I don't offer financial advice. I don't have a financial background. Just your everyday Joe Schmo, member of the XRP community here. That's it. I like to make videos on that which I'm interested in, which just so happens to be XRP. And so it gets down to, I think, ultimately, how this landscape's going to unfold. How quickly are many of the cryptocurrencies that are still out there being, how long will it take before they're shed? To what degree will Bitcoin have staying power? There's all sorts of factors playing into this, and so I'm not going to state definitively that XRP will be the number one investable asset over the next decade. I don't want to get hypey about it. But it's kind of like I want to walk a fine line because I also feel so bullish about it that I have to share my actual sentiment. I just want to be clear that it's not something to get all jazzed up about and go buy a bunch of XRP. I don't want to do that to anybody that's listening to me. I don't want that to be the response. And after I make a video like this. But I do want to talk about it. And so I wanted to run through this, and I'm going to run through this article first and share my thoughts on it, and just from the perspective of an XRP community member here, and where I think ultimately potentially things should be going for the crypto asset class as a whole, and specifically XRP. Oh, our pride and joy, XRP. And I've also got an article that I'm going to share with you towards the end of this video, which I think I'm going to segue perfectly into this because look at the title. Even if 1,000 projects don't make it, blockchain is still a change catalyst. So there you go. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. No need to get smashy with it. I know you're strong. You don't got to show off. Just delicately tap it. Everything's cool there. And as you know, this channel is... The content on this channel, it's primarily me sharing my origami creations with you. And of course, I delve a little bit into paper mache, so that's kind of the thrust of the channel. But from time to time, and I know it's not as exciting for my particular subscriber base, but sometimes I do talk about XRP. And so anyway, if like the origami and paper mache thing sounds like something that really would really excite you, then I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, where I'll be getting back to more of that tomorrow, of course. That's what I usually cover, as you know. All right, so Bitcame, that's another word. That just reminded me, remember when Maxine Waters said Bitcom? Oh man, I just had one of those moments. But at least I know I made an error. Anyway, Bitcoin became a wild card for personal finance. Take a look at this. Acquiring $1 worth of Bitcoin in 2010 would translate into more than $90,000 today, even after the correction from peak prices. And you can see, here's a tweet from Carl Quintanilla, who tweeted this out. BAML has a list of best/worst in asset classes of the decade. So here you go. Again, Bitcoin, $1 spent in 2010 would be worth $90,026 today. The worst would have been the Myanmar Kyat. Putting $1 into that in 2010 would have decreased that $1 to being worth only 0.004 cents, which is about what XRP was worth at the beginning of 2017, funny enough. How about that? Worth a lot more. Think about that. Sometimes it's good to have perspective. Think about that. As much as we're bitching about XRP price being low, and I get it. Look, I've got skin in the game too. But as much as we don't like seeing it around 21 cents, 2 years ago, it was at less than half a penny. So let's try, not 2 years ago. I guess, gosh, we're coming up on 3. My God, time's flying. Anyway, my point is, just keep things in perspective there. And then the piece continues to compare, even after an extremely successful decade for stocks, $1 invested in big indices of U.S. equities would have reached $3.46. And by the way, I know it sounds small, $1 and $3.46. That's actually quite tremendous. By traditional means. Of course, not everyone can sell at peak valuations without crashing the price, and stock indexes are historically less volatile and more liquid. But Bitcoin is a wild card for personal finance, helping build wealth for small-scale investors facing both risky markets and stagnated real income. And so
using blockchain wallet? Making transactions and paying commissions every day? Join us then. Get cash back up to 3.6%. Thousands of satisfied customers. Dozens of Bitcoins have been paid. Fast withdrawals to crypto wallets. Crypto cash back. Not with us yet?
next decade, what's this all going to look like? Well, it depends, because here's the thing. I don't know. I've got an idea of the way some things might unfold. I'm not completely clear on what the timeline's going to look like. I don't even think that people in the space know what it's going to look like for their individual projects. But as far as Ripple and XRP, I still maintain that the most reasonable investment thesis to have is the one that I hold, which is that utility matters and will win the day. And again, not financial advice. It's just my opinion. And so ultimately, I think that most of the projects out there, most of the cryptocurrencies that exist, they will indeed go the way of the dodo. They will become extinct, just like that avian creature, that beautiful, majestic avian creature. That's what's going to happen ultimately, because, and the way it's going to happen, even if the blockchains don't all go offline, they're going to be delisted en masse from all sorts of exchanges. I just don't know exactly what the timeline's going to look like. But I know that crypto, almost nobody's invested in it. And so I know that. And I know that crypto is here to stay for sure. And here's the number one reason. When somebody asks you, how do you know that crypto is going to be here forever? Well, it's harder to make the case if your whole idea is that it's going to replace fiat currency. Good luck convincing somebody of that. But if you can explain that cryptocurrencies have to exist in order for some businesses today with their new business models to be able to conduct business utilizing such business models, cryptocurrency have to exist. If you can get that idea across to somebody, then it might have one of those light switch moments. It's just an aha moment where you're like, oh yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Now, there's a lot of detail and explanation that needs to be conveyed to get somebody to that point. But it's a cold hard fact that without cryptocurrencies, that can't happen. Now, specifically, I'm looking at where the real world adoption is, and I only see that with XRP too. So to me, it's a no-brainer. So not only that, I see that almost nobody is invested in cryptocurrencies on the planet. I don't remember what the percentage is off the top of my head. There are estimates out there, and I don't remember. I didn't look it up for the sake of this video. It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying it's almost nobody. But given that there will be staying power, and given that utility matters, and given that we're seeing real-world adoption around XRP, what do you think is going to happen 10 years out? You know, and so Bitcoin, I'm not even saying that Bitcoin's necessarily going to go away. Maybe it'll find some actual use case other than a store of value, in which case I'd turn bullish long-term for it if it can see real adoption, if it can. I'm just highly skeptical of that at this point. I don't hate Bitcoin. I'm not a maximalist of anything. Again, I'll go wherever my investment thesis fits pertaining to utility. That's where I'm going to go, and right now it's XRP. It just is. And so if I find other stuff, I'll be happy to talk to you about it, but it's XRP. It just is. And so as far as Bitcoin, yeah, maybe this will be here a decade. I don't know for sure. I mean, I don't know if it'll ever technically go away, because it'll eventually, even if it's not wildly adopted, or even if nobody long-term uses it as a store of value, it'll still have some sort of like museum type status. I don't know if the blockchain's ever going to go offline, but people, the price could drop, and that could all go away. It could. I'm not saying it will. I don't know. For sure, for the reasons I've already cited in this video. But even if it's got staying power, the multiplier effect, even if you fast forward 10 years, yeah, it could be staggering compared to returns of any other asset class or any other individual assets outside of crypto. It could still be staggering in terms of returns, but the multiplier effect will be nowhere near any of the other cryptocurrencies that have real utility. And so the only one that I'm seeing used in the commercial production of anything is XRP. So right now, based on the information available today, and of course, as things develop, I reserve the right to change my opinion, and I'll articulate that to you. But right now, I see XRP being used. And so what's that going to look like in 10 years as more humans figure this out? And that's why I figure even if Bitcoin is going to be here for the next decade, the returns for XRP, if my investment thesis is correct, should just be staggering when you compare it to Bitcoin. The returns should be just outlandish if you fast forward 10 years. I would suspect. I don't know that it's fact, and I'm not saying that as hype. I just want to be clear. I also have to think through this. Why am I doing this? Why am I so interested in the space? And it's for these reasons. These are all a big part of it. Now, There could also be smaller cap coins that have parabolic run-ups that in any given calendar year could dwarf XRP, but that's mostly parabolic action as a result of speculation rather than utility. Now, if I see utility being the cause of it, I'm going to perhaps jump in. Fine, if I find some other new project, super duper. But that I'm just saying, if you fast forward a full decade out, though, not just individual years that where individual currencies outperform XRP in the world of crypto, just fast forward that decade. If the importance of utility has taken hold by then, to me, it is perhaps the case. It seems reasonable to speculate that maybe it'll be the case that XRP will have the greatest returns for the entire crypto asset class. I don't know that it's fact. I simply don't. I don't know when humans are when the frenzy's gonna die down and people are actually gonna figure this asset class out. But if you were just the more time you add to this in terms of returns from 2019, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 decades from now, I just think it's going to be staggering for XRP, and so that's more of like me having fun thinking through it, speculation type of thing. I'm trying to walk a fine line because I really don't want it to be hype, and I hope none of that's coming off as that, because that's not what I'm trying to do here. I just want to be clear. But if I didn't think there were tremendous returns, it wouldn't be as exciting to follow all this stuff. It's fun because I have skin in the game. It's fun because I think that I came across something that most of the world is unaware of, and I suspect that many of you out there feel the same. It's really cool stuff, right? So those are my 2 cents, and I'd love to hear what you think, though. Like, what is XRP actually going to look like in terms of price action and actual adoption over the next decade? Which, again, we're almost in another new decade. Can you believe 2019 coming to an end? Man, time be flying. All right, here's a tweet from Crypto Penny CEO that I wanted to share with you. All right, I'm going to be real brief with this, though. Crypto Penny wrote, "More evidence that we may be quite a ways away from any significant movement in XRP." And I have like a brief comment or something like that. Not too much. I don't want to get too in-depth on this, but I just thought I'd share with you some other thoughts. Somebody named Salajin wrote this on Twitter. "What do you see happening first, Mike? 30 to 50 corridors, increased utility."
Using blockchain wallet? Making transactions and paying commissions every day? Join us then. Get cash back up to 3.6%. Thousands of satisfied customers. Dozens of Bitcoins have been paid. Fast withdrawals to crypto wallets. Crypto cashback. Not with us yet?
Or ILP on full scale. And Michael Nardalillo responded, "Any answer I give would be a wild guess. ILP v4 is a long way off from a scale of any payment networks today, and 30 to 50 corridors is as well, even if they double the amount opened this year. We tend to overestimate the short term and underestimate the long term. TBS, I'd say minimum 5 years for 30 on-demand liquidity corridors, ILP large scale even longer." Matt Hamilton responded, "My gut feeling would be something similar." And so I don't know. It's not an unreasonable speculation. I don't think it's unreasonable, but I tend to think that it's speculation from my part too, but I tend to, if I had to guess, I think that there's going to be more corridors than that open in the next 5 years, because I think the rate of adoption for this is going to increase exponentially. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Maybe we'll fast forward 5 years and Michael's right and it'll just be 30 to 50, which even then, that's still real world adoption. But I just tend to think, MoneyGram's conducting business in over 20,000 corridors, so it's got to speed up at some point. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm still getting over a cold here. Didn't expect that. But anyway, so yeah, it's not good. As long as adoption keeps going in the right direction, I'll still be bullish. But I tend to think, if I had to guess, it's probably going to be a bit more than that. Next, here's a tweet from XRP Electrified. "I will buy XRP. If it drops, I will buy more XRP. If it drops again, I will buy more. If it drops again, a better opportunity, and I will buy more. Remember, you don't profit or loss until you sell." And so he tagged me in that along with some others. So I just thought I'd give a shout out, and I can appreciate the confidence. So bully for you, good sir, and thanks for tagging me in that. All right. Now this last piece here. "Even if 1,000 projects don't make it, blockchain is still a change catalyst." And indeed, the vast majority in terms of percentages, well, even in numbers, whatever, however you want to look at it, most projects are going to fail. That's okay. I think that even a lot of what, and this is not some harsh critical thing about Ripple, but I even think that a lot of what they're doing, investing in Spring projects, I think a lot of those things are going to fail, but you have to do that to figure out which ones are going to have staying power. So to me, that's not a harsh critique. It's just it's just identifying what reality is going to look like. That's how I perceive it anyway. Anyway, so this is written by Gary Gensler here. Excuse me. And so Gartner, an IT research and consulting firm, came up with a framework to look at the stages of adoption and market enthusiasm of emerging technologies. Though criticized by some for being unscientific, the Gartner hype cycle was caught on in popular culture. Where might cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology be now that cycle compared with the emerging technologies of the past? Measured by market valuations, cryptocurrencies have experienced several booms and busts. The Mt. Gox-led boom and bust of 2012 to 2014, the ICO boom and bust of 2017 to 2018, and more recently the tokenization and Facebook Libra-led boom and, dare I say, bust of 2019. Market values are but one measure and don't necessarily equate with underlying viability of an emerging technology. While expectations have waned, might cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology still be at inflated expectations? Many minimalists would contend so. NYU economist Nouriel Roubini isn't alone with his oft-noted doubts about cryptocurrencies. Yeah, there are all sorts of naysayers, I get it. Might the field be bouncing along the trough of disillusionment, awaiting signs of viable use cases? Joe Lubin, founder of Ethereum and Consensus, thinks so, finalizing the terms of his bet with Jimmy Song on the future viability of dApps. Song remains optimistic about the utility of Bitcoin as a digitally scarce store of value, but remains decidedly a minimalist with regard to the viability of blockchain technology for other uses. Yeah, there's all sorts of uses. I disagree with that, but hey, there you go. And so, through the mist of 2019's hype and bold announcements, the crypto market's ups and downs, and departures of hundreds of projects from the field, though, some ground truths are evident. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know where this just started hitting me towards the end of this video. Good thing I'm about to wrap this up anyway. I think I probably actually better just stop it right there, because the gist of what I wanted to kind of say there is just kind of drive home the point that there's going to be all sorts of failures, but that's why for me it's just to drive home the point again, and I love illustrating this everywhere I can, just the idea that utility actually matters, and just watch those coins that are actually being adopted in the real world. And from my perspective, and this is not me telling you what to do, it's not financial advice, it's me saying from my perspective that's where it makes sense to put money. So that's what I'm doing anyway. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because if anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!